Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Acupuncture is My Life. Now, in this episode, I want to go over a topic that quite a few of my more recent patients, as well as patients of some of my colleagues around the world, have been bringing up, and that's excessive sleepiness. They want to know why are they constantly feeling sleepy? And, I want to explain this can be due to a wide range of factors. And there are cases where sleepiness can be a symptom of an underlying condition that can require immediate medical attention, especially seeing an acupuncturist. Okay, and it's important that you're aware of these conditions. And you see, there are many individuals that are very thankful for the Acupuncture is My Life podcast, as well as the Acupuncture is My Life YouTube channel. And if you're not already watching Acupuncture is My Life on YouTube, do so. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, because there's so much more that you can learn about the benefits of acupuncture. And you see, in constantly recommending that you see an acupuncturist for regular wellness visits, along with seeing your primary care physician on an annual basis for regular checkups, it's changed so many lives, tens of thousands of lives, possibly even more, for the better. But when it comes to this podcast, I want to focus on excessive sleepiness because for some reason, I don't know, I've been seeing a lot of patients with this issue, and so have my colleagues recently. And again, there are certain conditions you have to pay attention to or look out for. And one of them being chronic fatigue syndrome. And you see, that syndrome tends to consist of intense fatigue or exhaustion. And they can be both mentally and physically. So I don't want you to think it'll just be a physical thing. It can include mental fatigue as well. And you'll experience this fatigue after performing just minimal tasks or activities. And sometimes it can be manifested by, believe it or not, sore throat, headache, muscle pain, joint pain. But chronic fatigue syndrome, in seeing an acupuncturist, they have to figure out what type of deficiency it's tied to. It could be a deficiency of qi, it could be a deficiency of yang. It can be a wind issue, and that's where, let's say lung qi deficiency, for example, or it could be liver wind representing the headache or joint pain. It can be a myriad of things. I really don't want to pinpoint, one type of pattern, because that pattern may not pertain to you. Now, another condition can be celiac disease, which is when your intestines are chronically inflamed. And fatigue is just one of the symptoms related to celiac disease, which is caused by ingesting gluten. And along with fatigue, when it comes to celiac disease, other symptoms can present as diarrhea, anemia, weight loss, and more. Now, if you suffer from celiac disease or chronic fatigue syndrome, or just face with excessive sleepiness, see an acupuncturist right away. Another condition that can play into excessive sleepiness can be hypothyroidism. Not hyper, but hypo. And this is a condition where your thyroid gland isn't producing enough hormones. You need to get to an acupuncturist right away if you suffer from hypothyroidism. Let an acupuncturist sit with you, see where the deficiency pattern is coming from relative to a particular meridian or low connecting channel or what. It can be due to many reasons, but hypothyroidism does cause fatigue as well as weight gain and even muscle pain. And it predominantly affects women in their older age. Another is, what's another condition for excessive sleepiness? Sleep apnea. Now that's a form of it's considered obstructive sleep apnea syndrome. And, to an acupuncturist, how does this affect the lungs, the lung qi, lung yin? How does this affect the kidneys? Because this can be seen, it can be seen as a respiratory disorder where, there's episodes of, let's say, partial or even complete closure of the upper airway. And you'll notice that, you snore a lot. You wake up in the middle of the night several times. And more individuals that are more at risk of this is to an acupuncturist is someone who's heavily endowed with phlegm damp accumulation, or someone who's obese, or you smoke, or you drink too much alcohol, because smoking and alcohol tend to worsen the symptoms. And if you're addicted to alcohol or cigarettes, see an acupuncturist. There is a special protocol to treat this type of addiction. It's important you see an acupuncturist. Another is anxiety. It can play into excessive sleepiness, where you're worrying a lot or you're in fear. And this can manifest as a mild pattern or a severe pattern. And if you're suffering from an anxiety disorder, see an acupuncturist right away. Because keep in mind, health is wealth. That's what a wealth is. And you want to take care of your health. You want to understand that the wealth is not in the bank or in a safe in your office or closet. It's not in a cryptocurrency account, and it's not in an app on your phone. The wealth also is not in your wallet, pocketbook, or purse. The wealth is definitely not under your mattress. It's not under the doghouse in the backyard. And the wealth is not in the shoebox in the closet. The wealth is in you. And it's important that you understand that. Now, another condition relative to excessive sleepiness can be due to restless leg syndrome. And I treat a lot of individuals with restless leg syndrome. Acupuncture is great for that. It's purportedly a disease of the nervous system, which causes this irresistible and urgent need to move your legs. And this syndrome tends to cause pain and tingling and itching, and it can even cause your leg to jerk spontaneously. But more times than not, it usually occurs at night when you sleep, and the next day you're going to be tired because you're burning chi. And is this some type of wind issue, which is representing the itching or tingling sensation? When I say wind, I'm talking about internal wind. And sometimes wind, or more times than not, internal wind issues can come from a deficiency pattern or even an excess pattern of dampness or phlegm. But you need to sit with an acupuncturist to get a better understanding of that. Another cause of excessive sleepiness could be due to depression. Again, mental and emotional disorder. And depression is basically a mood that tends to negatively affect a person's quality of life. Zaps your energy, which means you'll tire very quick. Very, very quick. Anemia is another, where you have a low number of red blood cells traversing the body, so you're not getting enough oxygen to the tissues, and it can cause fatigue. It can be related to iron deficiency. And iron deficiency anemia normally happens when your body does not have sufficient levels of iron to produce hemoglobin. Sit with an acupuncturist. It's important. Another's diabetes, which is a chronic disease where there's, elevated blood glucose levels, i.e. hyperglycemia, which is generally due to an impaired insulin quantity or even function. And one of the symptoms of diabetes is fatigue. Definitely see an acupuncturist. Another can be due to, let's say, mononucleosis. And this is when the body's affected as a result of a transmission of a virus. And it's usually like a kissing virus. And a lot of high school kids will come down with this. I've seen this often enough. And it's manifested. Mononucleosis is generally manifested by fever, sore throat, fatigue, enlarged glands, toxic disorder, internal disorder. If you sit with an acupuncturist, it'll change your life. Trust me. And there's so much that you wouldn't be concerned over simply as a result of sitting with an acupuncturist. All right? And especially when it comes to excessive sleepiness, because I just ran off a few conditions, but there are several conditions that can cause that. But if you'd made acupuncture a part of your life, you wouldn't be worried about that. So just simple solution is just start by making acupuncture part of your life. Because acupuncture is my life. What's yours?